Hello, Ninthers, and once again, a very good morning, a very good afternoon, and a very good evening based on the time in which you'll be watching this video. I hope every one of you is doing well and fine along with the members of your families. Also, hoping that you all are keeping yourself safe, not venturing much outside, and even if you have to, you're taking care of all the precautions which you need to take so as to keep yourself safe from the coronavirus. And well, you should not keep on thinking about when exams will be taking place, how they'll be taking place, because I've been getting questions like these. But then, what you actually should be doing right now is you should try to make your time much more useful, and you can at least get to explore newer hobbies and take care of yourself, take care of your family members well, get to know yourselves, your family members well, read a new book. If you love history, you can start reading history, higher level history. If you love geography, you can start reading higher level geography. All those things you can start doing. Now we were talking about the different layers of the atmosphere. Now we'll be talking about this thermosphere or the ionosphere. When we are talking of the thermosphere or the ionosphere, it is lying above the mesosphere. And the thermosphere extends from 80 kilometer to about 480 kilometer. This is not actually important. So you do not have to keep this in mind. But then the temperature increases with the increase in height. In the other layers, it keeps on decreasing, exception stratosphere. But again, over here also the temperature keeps on increasing as the height of the or as we start moving up in the thermosphere. Why is this happening? Because this thermosphere is absorbing the gas molecules in the thermosphere. They absorb the X-rays and the shortwave ultraviolet radiations of the sun. So this is one way by which the thermosphere is keeping the earth or keeping us safe from very high heat of the sun and also from very harmful effects of the ultraviolet radiations. Now what starts happening is that due to such heat, as because so much heat is being absorbed by the gas molecules of the thermosphere, the gas molecules, they start breaking up into positive and negatively charged particles. You have learned in chemistry that this is called ionization. When an atom, it breaks up, it splits, it loses electrons, what happens is that ions are formed. So ionization takes place over here. Now these charged particles, they are known as ions, and the process by which atoms are changed into ions by the addition or removal of electrons making them electrically charged is known as ionization. Now this is one thing which you all have learned in chemistry. Now these are very important. This ionization is very important. It allows for the radio communication and satellite communication. These electrically charged gas molecules reflect radio waves back to the earth, thereby making radio communication or long distance communication possible. So this is one very important role of which the thermosphere or the ionosphere plays in our atmosphere or in the day-to-day life on earth. This is also called ionosphere because of the high concentration of ions present in this layer. Next, if we talk about this because of these ions and because of other ionized particles which are coming from the sun, as they are absorbed very high above in the atmosphere, they due to the magnetic field of the earth and also because of these ions which are present, some beautiful weather phenomenon take place in the atmosphere. This is called the Aurora Borealis or the Aurora Northern Lights and the Aurora Australis or the Southern Lights. Aurora Borealis is there in near areas of the northern pole and Aurora Australis in the areas of the southern pole. Now, the thermosphere protects us from meteors and obsolete satellites. This high temperature burns up nearly all the debris falling on the Earth. What happens is that if any meteor is falling on the Earth, or if any other small heavenly body is falling on Earth, or dead satellites are falling on the Earth, what starts happening is that as they start coming into the atmosphere of the Earth, they go through intense amount of friction. And not only that, as they are reaching this area, this as they are reaching the thermosphere, thermo means hot, so that is why the name thermosphere. As they are reaching the thermosphere, what happens is that due to the high amount of friction and also due to the high amount of heat present in the thermosphere, the particles, they start burning up, and by the time they are away from, or they come out of the atmosphere and reach the mesosphere, the lower layer below the thermosphere, what starts happening is that they are nearly burnt out. and small particles fall on the earth which are not harmful for us. So this two ways by which the thermosphere protects us is that it helps us from or protects us from meteors and obsolete satellites due to the high temperature which gets burnt up while entering the thermosphere, and also by this thermosphere or ionosphere which is over here. It helps in trapping lots and lots of heat of the ultraviolet radiations of the sun. Next comes the exosphere. Exosphere is the outermost layer of the earth. Now this is there's no particular boundary between the exosphere uh, and the space, so the exosphere gradually merges into space. The temperature increases with altitude in this layer. It may range from 300 to 1600 degrees Celsius. So this is another layer where the temperature increases. The density of air is very low. Why? Because most of the air is concentrated near the surface of the earth because of the gravity of the earth which has pulled the which keeps on pulling the air towards it. So in the exosphere there is not much air. It is in very rarefied form. Rarefied means it is very rare. It is very low in density, and the gas molecules, due to lack of gravity over here, they keep on escaping into the space. So this contains very low traces of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, argon and helium. Now this is important. What is the homosphere and the heterosphere? Homosphere, homo means you all know it is same throughout. You have learned homogeneous in chemistry. And so homogeneous mixture means when the entire mixture is same throughout. Heterogeneous mixture is when the mixture is not same throughout, when the you can take out or the mixture is not completely even. So this homosphere and the heterosphere. The first three layers of the atmosphere, troposphere, stratosphere and the mesosphere, these come under the homosphere. Why? Because the gases are mixed in such a way that this homosphere, these three layers, the gases are nearly more or less, they are mixed together and they are generally same throughout. So the proportion of the gases, the percentage of the gases in this layer or in these three layers containing in the homosphere, they are nearly same. But the exceptions are there. Exceptions like dust particle, water vapor, they keep on varying. So we had read in the starting of this chapter that these are the things which keep on varying. And the heterosphere is the upper portion of the atmosphere extending from 80 kilometers up till the nearly the where the boundary of the exosphere and the space is. The gases present over here are not evenly mixed. The thermosphere, which is in the lower layer, is called ionosphere, and the exosphere, where lighter gases like hydrogen and helium are present, are included in it. So this heterosphere, the gases are not properly mixed. That is why there is some concentration of gases here. Some other gases are concentrated. Light gases like hydrogen and helium, they are in the upper layers of the exosphere. Other gases are in the lower layers. So there is not proper mixing. That is why it is the heterosphere. Very important. What is the ozone layer? Now, most of the atmospheric ozone is concentrated in the upper part of the stratosphere. It is known as the ozonosphere. So, what is the ozonosphere? Ozonosphere is nothing but a layer of the which is present within the stratosphere, and it contains the very important gas ozone. What is ozone actually? Ozone is O3. So O3, when we are talking of O3, what actually happens is that due to the heat of the sun in the upper parts of the stratosphere, the oxygen, it breaks up. Oxygen breaks up into so oxygen breaks up, and one molecule of oxygen, you have one atom of oxygen, O and O. So as O2 breaks up, we get O and O, and then another O2, it reacts with another single O which is present, and O3 is formed. So ozone is a form of oxygen with three atoms instead of the more usual two. It is formed when ultraviolet rays of the sun split oxygen molecules in the upper part of the stratosphere. Its own existence results from the absorption by oxygen of the short-wave ultraviolet radiation of the sun, process leading to the rise in temperature that occurs in the stratosphere. What it actually means to say is that just for ozone to be created, oxygen absorbs the ultraviolet rays of the sun. It gets heated up. Oxygen breaks into, you all know that heat and electricity can break molecules into two successive atoms. So as the ozone is, or as the oxygen is absorbing a lot of heat from the ultraviolet rays, oxygen is broken into oxygen O2 is broken down into O and O. So one O is here, and another O is here. So O2 has broken down. One atom of O is here, another atom of O is over here. Now what happens is that there is, suppose, another third molecule of oxygen. So this is another O2. This pinky finger is another molecule of O2. What happens is that it reacts with one another or a single O atom, forming O3 molecule. This also reacts with, now this thumb, suppose it is another O2 molecule. So it comes and reacts with this and another O3 is formed. So this is how the formation of O2 and O3 takes place. And why is this O3 being formed? It is being formed because the oxygen in the upper layer of the stratosphere is absorbing the ultraviolet rays of the sun. So it is a continuous cyclic process. Now, the ozone layer absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun, which would otherwise severely harm all living things on the earth. Thus, the ozone is essential for sustaining life on the earth. Presence of ozone is a boon to human beings. Boon meaning as a blessing. The maximum concentration of ozone gas is between 32 and 50 kilometers from the surface of the earth. Now this is important. Ozone is present both in the stratosphere and the troposphere. The stratospheric ozone is produced by the action of ultraviolet light on the molecules of oxygen, which we just discussed. While troposphere, the oxygen, tropospheric ozone, the ozone which is present in the troposphere, is produced by the action of ultraviolet light on the molecules of nitrogen dioxide, and it is toxic in nature, it is poisonous in nature. So the tropospheric ozone is poisonous, while the stratospheric ozone is very, very important to us. The stratospheric ozone provides a protective shield around the earth, while tropospheric ozone is a serious pollutant. Ozone is produced commercially by electrical discharges in a machine called the ozonizer. So ozonizer is a machine which produces uh, ozone on the earth in a commercial on a commercial basis. Now we'll be completing this chapter in the remaining part of the chapter in the next video, when we do the ozone depletion and its harmful effects and the remaining parts of this chapter. This is more or less a theoretical chapter, nothing much to understand in this chapter. So we'll be completing this and then we'll be moving on to the other parts of atmosphere. Till then, please take care, stay safe and stay happy. Thank you.